Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to our channel once again. And it is my hope and prayer that this video is going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I am fine, as you can see. Kisumu is also fantastic, and maybe you could also let me know where you're watching the video from, the county or the country, in case you are out of the republic. Ladies and gentlemen, in this video, I want us to do a critical analysis about Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance statement, which they issued earlier today after the meeting of Azimio Summit. Azimio Summit is the top decision-making organ of Azimio. And that meeting is significant for one main reason. It is the first time the summit is meeting after William Ruto and Raila Odinga met with Museveni in Uganda. And of course, it's also the first meeting they are holding this year. And I also noted two things which are significant. The first thing I noted was the absence of Martha Karua. When do you think Martha Karua was absent? Because it's nowadays normal for Martha Karua to miss Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance meetings. The other day, I saw Martha Karua convening NAC Kenya meeting, but for Azimio, she's been deliberately missing. The second thing, which is also significant, which I noted, was that the statement was read by none other than Jeremiah Kioni. Jeremiah Kioni is the Secretary General of Jubilee Party, and therefore his presence and the fact that he read the statement simply means that Uhuru Kenyatta is in concurrence with the deliberations of this Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance Summit. Let us go through this statement because I want to go just through it verbatim for us to understand what Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance were trying to tell Kenyans. Let me just begin. We have had a meeting of the summit, which is Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance coalition party's top decision-making organ. The truth is, the summit is the top decision organ of the party, which means whatever they agreed there is going to bind Azimio as a coalition. And they are saying the purpose of the meeting was to, number one, take a bird's eye view of the nation with regards to the issues we have been outspoken on, namely the high cost of living, inclusivity in appointments to public service, the taxation regime, and the general health of our economy. Basically, the state of economy and appointments, tribalism or nepotism. They are going to explain that, so just hold on. Number two, get a briefing on the status and the progress of the NADCO report. Remember, this NADCO report is either going to make or break Azimio, and it's also going to make or break Kenya. I'm coming to that. And also the number three, get a briefing on the progress and status of Azimio leader Right Honorable Raila Odinga's bid of the chairmanship of the African Union Commission. So in short, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance Summit met for three main issues: the state of economy or issues touching on economy, number two, the NADCO report, and Raila Odinga's bid. Now let us go through the statement. What are they saying on the state of economy? This is what Azimio is saying. On the state of economy, the summit maintained the view that the tax burden being borne by Kenyans is unreasonable and unsustainable. The Kenya Kwanza regime is failing the test of being caring and compassionate. Paying taxes should never be a punishment, but a patriotic duty. Under Kenya Kwanza regime, taxation is a punishment that is hurting the entire economy. We remain opposed to the 16% tax on petroleum product. Remember, William Ruto and Kenya Kwanza decided to impose 16% VAT on tax on petroleum product, and that's generally generally that's what made the cost of living to go up. I've always told you that if Azimio had a proper communication strategy, right now Kenya Kwanza would not be moving around the country. Just remember, just the other day, you saw what happened in Mount Kenya when the farmers almost chased away government officials over taxation. But despite that, Azimio is still sleeping. Huh? Now, let's just proceed what they're saying. We remain opposed to the housing tax and its colonial undertones that make it look like the infamous hut tax of the colonial era. Remember, during the colonial era, they used to come to the houses to take taxes. That's what these guys are trying to say here. We are deeply opposed to the high pay rates that Kenyan workers are being forced to endure. We remain opposed to the subjection of retirees' pension. So in short, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance are trying to take advantage of the taxation, because if there's one thing which is going to bring Kenya Kwanza down, it's the issue of the taxation. But Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance still have not found a strategy on how to relay that information in a very simple manner which an ordinary Kenyan can understand. You see, most Kenyans cannot understand even this particular statement here. So if I were to advise Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance, please go back to the drawing board, make it simple for people to understand. Let me read here. I think somewhere here they are trying to make a bit of sense. We also remain opposed deeply to the idea of subjecting farm produce to taxation. It is our position that forcing farmers to part with 5 bob for every 100 they make from their farm produce is unreasonable and cruel. We encourage our farmers to resist. Basically, by encouraging farmers to resist, they are targeting the voters in Mount Kenya, because the voters in Mount Kenya have already resisted. And yesterday, I witnessed in shock the members of parliament from Kenya Kwanza who voted for this bill, trying to explain that the tax is not on all farmers, it's not compulsory. While KRA are very clear that you have to pay. The truth is, if Azimio was strategic, this is the moment they can use to take Kenya Kwanza down. Now, let us focus now on the second item, which is the NADCO report. On the NADCO report, we have been adequately briefed on the progress, including a number of bills, 9 to be exact, that have been lined up for the implementation of the report. So I think they're trying to implement some of the recommendations of the NADCO report, and according to them, the 9 bills. We express gratitude to Parliament for the adoption of the report that was a product of the bipartisan consensus and wide public participation. Remember this NADCO thing, most of Azimio supporters were not for it. We retain the view that the report must be implemented as is. It is also our position that the processing of the NADCO report and the bills should be fast-tracked. Regrettably, mark that, we have also been informed of forces in Kenya Kwanza, in and outside Parliament, who are determined to undermine the report. The truth of the matter is that a large percentage of Azimio supporters believed then, and they still believe now, that the bipartisan talks was all about a strategy of managing Azimio or Raila Odinga from continuing with the process, and that it was going to reach a point when William Ruto and his government were going to undermine and frustrate it. This is the point. So let us receive what they are saying. We notify those forces that should any effort to undermine or tamper with the report succeed, there will be a very heavy price to pay. Which heavy price? Which heavy price, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance? Kenyans will not go to the streets, I can assure you, over the issue of NADCO. Kenyans were done with it. Kenyans were ready to go the whole hog, but you called off the strike. Kenyans will not, and that's when you'll realize that you guys were played. So just hope that William Ruto is going to be a gentleman, is going to heed to the advice by the US government, is going to heed to the advice by Obasanjo, and is going to keep his words. But I doubt if Kenyans will be willing to go to the street now that Reverend Raila Odinga will be rebranding ahead of his bid of becoming the chairperson of the Azimio la Umoja One. The chairperson of the African Union Commission. And guys don't think that William Ruto is a fool. William Ruto knows. He knew what he was doing. If you don't know, William Ruto knew what he was doing. And they have a reason why they are supporting Raila Odinga's bid. Because once Raila submits his name, is going to be a candidate of the state. Huh? Huh? Now, in this regard, we call on Honorable William Ruto to rein in the Speaker of the two houses of Parliament and a number of members of the National Executive who are hell-bent to derail the NADCO. Those leaders have cleverly demonstrated a determination to delay, derail, or even kill the NADCO report, which is a negotiated document that pulled the country out of the hostility to the peace that obtains today. Nobody should take the present situation as a given or for granted. The truth is, this is what William Ruto wanted. This is what Kenya Kwanza wanted. You guys, Azimio, you made a mistake. You fell for the trap. You are now in that trap. There's nothing you're going to do. Don't be cheated that Wetangula can do what William Ruto doesn't want. That Kingi can also do what Wetangula doesn't want. I mean, what William Ruto doesn't want. The truth is, all these guys are working under the instruction of William Ruto. There is no executive and there's nobody in executive other than William Ruto. William Ruto is the one who has captured the executive. Of course, he's the executive. He has captured the legislature, which is parliament. He has captured it using which people? Weta and Kingi. And he's also been trying so hard to capture the judiciary. It's only that for judiciary, they've been having a bit of fallout. So Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance, please take Kenyans easy. On this, I don't think Kenyans, personally for me, I don't think I'll be supporting you if you were to call for another demonstration. Maybe other Kenyans will, but for me, on the NADCO report, maybe on the cost of living or other things like these taxes, Azimio actually can take advantage of some of these taxes to stage demonstration and take advantage, like this farming input, where they want to start looking for small traders and tax them. They can incite Kenyans to chase away those KRA guys. I'm just saying, but that's something they can do. But no Kenyan will actually go to the street over NADCO report. So they are also saying that we also express support to the principle of the 2/3 gender rule and its inclusion as part of the NADCO report. The truth is, when Aisha Juma met with Raila Odinga, that deal was sealed. Now, let us get into the last issue, which is their position on Raila Odinga's bid for the African Union chairmanship. On the issue of Right Honorable Raila Odinga's bid for the chairmanship, the summit reiterated our earlier stand as a coalition to support in every way we can to ensure Mr. Odinga takes the seat. It is our position as a coalition that it is in the best interest of the country and the East African community that Honorable Raila Odinga takes the seat. To this end, we very much appreciate the support of our neighbors and those from across the continent who have extended to Raila Odinga. So the truth is, Raila Odinga is going for this. William Ruto just announced, and that video is coming up, that East African presidents have all agreed to support Raila Odinga. So which means Raila Odinga needs to now go to the next, maybe ECOWAS or maybe another part of the country, because if it's East African turn, then all these presidents have agreed it's Raila Odinga. Then who is going to defeat Baba? Nobody. And they're also saying we are also encouraged by the personal effort by the party leader to win the seat without relying entirely on the endorsement by the state, and we all committed to reach out to friends and fellow leaders out there in support of our leaders' bid. I doubt if Jeremiah Kioni, all those other guys, or Malwa or Kalonzo might have friends who can influence. Kalonzo has been a minister for foreign affairs, maybe yes. The rest I doubt. So Raila Odinga is going out there. Maybe Uhuru will help a lot. The meeting also strongly welcomed the efforts of our country, Kenya, to back Honorable Odinga. We agree this is not partisan political issue, but matter of national pride and image. We are united on this. So basically, they are saying that on the issue of African Union Commission, it's not going to be a party affair. So which means for them, they're also agreeing that Raila Odinga is going to be a Kenyan candidate, an East African candidate. So I'll be waiting to see how they're going to maneuver the politics around it. Because for William Ruto, he's gotten the opportunity to play nice politics with all this issue. And they are saying, as a coalition, we have committed to stay united and stay the course of holding the Kenya Kwanza regime to account and to fight for the rights and the dignity of the people of Kenya. I agree with you, Azimio, on that. But you must change strategy. You can't be predictable all the time. You must change a strategy on how you are going to deal with this government. And I would want to encourage them to continue doing whatever they've been doing. Kalonzo must go outside there, all these other guys. In that regard, as we support Mr. Odinga for AU, we will also support the right of Kenyans to affordable living, lower taxes, and functional economy that guarantee decent livelihoods. In short, they are saying they welcome the support of the government, but still, they will still deal with the other issues because, Raila Odinga is in a situation where He's banking on the vote, that single vote of William Ruto, very important, because not Aisha Juma. Amina Mohammed lost by 2 votes. So that 1 vote by William Ruto is very, very important. So for Raila Odinga, he has to de-escalate. But can you divorce Raila Odinga from Azimio? Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. I hope you've enjoyed that analysis. Bye-bye.